It is with my great pleasure and terrible font for this episode, the Bench Network presents Goblyn Story Time, an Under the Mushroom Cap production.
Story time!
My Facebook notifications are making sounds. That's horrible. Well, hopefully my Facebook notifications will not make sounds anymore. I apologize, friends. That is gross. Anywho, this is Goblin Story Time. Oh, that is there. Okay. Narrated by me, Doc Warmaster Cordovan, although please just call me Cord. T Goblins. There's lots of different things that the T means. WMWD MC LLC. I have decided today that I'm going to talk about my diplomas for a second. Many years ago, I had no diplomas, and then I got some diplomas, and I realized that diplomas are kind of overrated. But in a game where we have silly titles, and monsters don't really care much for titles, but also we love them, I decided to add them to my name. WMWD, Weapon of Mass Destruction, is kind of hilarious. MC was a very recent discovery, as of this weekend, which I will speak to, and I'm very happy about and proud of. But it comes to my understanding that most people have no idea where the LLC comes from. So this is, for those who came on time, a mini intro story time. So, long ago, in the faraway lands of Western Wars, somewhere between the iron port of Pike and the burning mountains, I battled among friends to witness the elevation of a dear one by the name of Sir Thumbs, or Thumley. I like calling him Thumbs. Sir Thumbs was not Sir at the time, but a squire. The other word is not so good. And he was knighted under the extraordinarily wonderful and rather chaotic individual by the name of Sir Diomedes. He is a Gelf. And Dio is phenomenal. And Dio asked us what our titles were because he was going to announce us. And this was a time where I didn't really know how I felt about my titles. So I told him, well, I'm, Warmaster Cord and WMWD because I thought it was funny. And so we go up to the line, and he announces me to Thumbs, and I say, but I'm a business goblin to him. I tell him, because, I am a business goblin. And so I tell him. And so he, when I come up to the line, I expect him to say something along the lines of, oh, there's Warmaster Cord, he's a cool dude, blah, blah, blah. But no, he says, Warmaster Cord, T Goblins, WMWD LLC. And I don't know why, but from that point on, it is solid and it is canon. Sir Diomedes gave me that. I don't know why, but it's always going to be there. I guess I am a limited liability conglomerate because I don't really think I'm a corporation. I don't follow rules that well. But yeah, just please call me Cord. Titles are fun, and I love them for story and if you want to be all fancy, living, learning community. I like that phrase. And yeah, if you want to be fancy shit, you can use them. I don't care. I'm not the sir. I use it as a form of respect, like in my everyday life all the time, so I get it. But yeah, that's not my thing. You can just call me the doc. Anywho, that's me. Hi. Hello, it's me. Look, guys, I apologize for no mask, but I have COVID, so I'm not putting my fucking face on right now. Oh, you know what, Pickles? You're right. Corporations don't follow rules neither. But see, I don't... You shouldn't make me want to think about those things, but maybe that's why you're the big EBF. I met the Pickles Jr. today. Anywho, you guys get to... Yes, but I'm in my own home, in my own room, with a wall of air purifiers separating me from everybody else. Plus, not in my beautiful leather mask. As my face goes away. That would be what would happen. Anywho, hi everybody. 'Tis I, Cord. I'm going to be drinking lots of water, and I feel pretty good, which is good. I apologize. This is not water. This is Peace Run Pee. I'm sorry. I'm just drinking my lifeblood. I really like... Oh, I got to think about where I'm pointing. I really like that dude over there. But this is the agenda for today. Fix my font. Oh, no. I'm Italian. I'll always be able to taste food. Knock on wood. I've had COVID 3 times. I've never lost my smell or taste. That's not true. I lost my smell. Didn't lose my taste. Yo, you are wrong, Kitsune. I'm just going to tell you that straight out. Anywho, Equinox recap. We're going to do that. Then we're going to do a special segment. And I want to do a special segment every episode. So that's going to become a thing. And then story time. And today I'm going to try to do a lot of story time. So we'll see how far we go. I'm going to try to keep this an hour for the recording's sake, because when Tanith sent me the video to upload to YouTube, I realized that I need an external drive if I'm going to do this at a serious level. You're okay, Kitsune, I like you. Retract my statement. Bringing me food is very kind. So we're going to do story time, and then we're going to do a thank you, and then we're going to do a thank you Q&A. So I don't have the chat set up with this new streaming software, so it is what it is, but I have it on my phone so I can see what all you wonderful people are saying. The more you talk, the more I'll talk, pretty much. So, really quickly, I want to talk Equinox. So first of all, no, I don't, we'll talk about GoFundMe, but not for me right now. So first of all, hi everybody. I made it back from my first Equinox, and holy crud, it was a good one. It is usually rare for me to not be able to write my event recap, like as I'm going home from the event. Couldn't do that this time. Definitely, yeah, had a tough time with that. This was a really impactful event for me. And if you've never been to Equinox in Monte Bell Park, I really suggest you do it, even though it's probably going to be wet when you go. The cabins are lovely. Anywho, Equinox has a great tree, this thing. The funniest part about all this is, homie, I keep telling you you're a goblin, but Brazen got to you first. I'm not going to take you from the hat trolls, but I could absolutely goblin you in a good way, in a way you'd understand and appreciate, and the Italian in you, you'd crack your knuckles and go, eh sì, questo cosa dobbiamo fare stavolta. Oh, okay. Anywho, yeah, Monte Bell was a beautiful sight. So this tree is important. And last episode, I told you guys my Master Chronicler project. I'm not going to do it again right now, but I wrote about the tree a lot of times without realizing that there was a tree. This is the great tree. This tree has been the watcher, as they say, of so much of our living history. And I think it's just so cool that it's actually there. So I wanted to show you guys this tree. It was Banjax's idea to put this tree here, so Banjax gets the credit deserved. Also, thank you for helping me set all this up. So, I like pictures. And I like supporting really incredible photographers. So we're going to be looking at a bunch of Flint's photography from my Master Chronicler project. And I'm going to talk about some of the other stuff that happened at EQ. I really, really like this picture because it's a good picture of my staff, this thing. And this thing, finally, you know, there's a part of me that really only thinks this happened because Brazen wasn't there. But there's also a part of me that understands that this is an exceptional piece of art. Finally won. So this is the staff, and you'll see lots of pictures of it that won the Mixed Media Award at Equinox. Full transparency, my skills as a chronicler is what won me that. My exposition and write-up was really, really good, and I now understand that so much... when you're entering monster stuff, anybody who is going to be entering monster ANS stuff, I suggest you take the time to actually really think about how you write about it. Because there were lots of parts of my staff that scored negatively in other tournaments because they were like, oh, it's messy. But you need to understand, it's meant to be messy. It's meant to be worn. It's meant to be living and alive. If I wanted you to feel that polished as, not that ivory is good, but as ivory or something, yeah, you trust me, I can, right? This is really cool. I love the framing and just angles and everything of this composition. That's the word I'm looking for, of this picture. I think Flint did a really good job. What's fun for me for this is I made this staff. can I do it? Yeah, wow, that's so weird. I made these beads. Droog, who is in my opinion, the premier orc LARPer in the United States, made that. There's a book underneath him, which is my Witch Doctor book, which Salamander made for me, and there's just so much freaking history. This is Bourbon. Bourbon is there, which is cool. And yeah, that's me. Okay, cool, whatever. But that's Fudge, this is hard. Oh, there we go. That's my arm. That's Jaconta. So Sir Jaconta is like one of the Numenorian staples. And it was just so cool and I've seen her around. Oh, fuck. Pause. Droog is legitimately the best orc in the United States. I will fist fight anybody who says otherwise. He runs a wonderful tribe. He really encourages growth. And, if you look at Kodite, you're like, oh my God, Kodite stuff is so good. Yeah, well, he's in that tribe too. So am I. Like, this guy really deserves the kudos for what he's done in the monster community simply by making these incredible, extraordinary masks. Nartom Call is the shit. But Jaconta, it was so cool to have Jaconta there because of the amount of history that she understood and saw. So we're going to move on. This is totally going to be shameless. I love these pictures. So Flint did an Brazen. I'm Urzuk. I've been in Nartom Call for like 5 years. Yes, I am. I have an orc kit. I'll show it one of these days. Urzuk is my attempt at not being a goblin. It's really hard, so I got another face. This is my orc face. And my kit I'm a slog. I'm not very good. I'm getting there. And that's because I'm really obsessed with goblin stuff. Anywho, so a couple shout outs here. One, let's see if I can make this bigger. Oh, can I do this live? Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, this is fun. So you see what I did with my staff. My staff is a stacking staff of 7 mushrooms. Dude, I have not seen Wad's new armor, but I did see when he made the giant helmet. I don't know. Wad's stuff is so cool. Big. Thank you, Vixie. That's kind of you. Thank you. So, Hemi, that would be the appropriate way. So, the thing about the staff that I really want to stress something, like slap. This staff grew. The first time I entered it, there was no paint. It was fudged not so good. And it still took second. It was a really good work of art, and I loved it. But it was like, it grew, and then I entered it against Brazen, and there was, again, no paint. I had burned it. I had done different things, and it grew. It's so critical when you're doing an arts and science project to allow it to grow if you're choosing to use it for Belagarth. If you want to use it for, like, it looked good, it did, but now it looks better. And the next time, so I'm of the belief system that if I win something with an ANS tournament, I'm not likely to enter it again. I'm not here just to like win. But the next thing I'm going to do to this staff, all of the white on it is going to be glow in the dark. So it's all going to be glow in the dark white. There's going to be a wooden carved moon that goes on the top of it. Like, I have lots of ideas. So this was a really cool experience. This was after I got my Master Chronicler, right before my final project presentation, which I was very grateful that y'all allowed me to do. Juggernaut, the gentleman right over here to the left or right of me, whatever. The one that isn't the orc, which is Gorg. Gorg has a great kit. That's like my bardic inspiration. He really deserves that credit. I've known him since I was 16, and having him there and running my ceremony was extraordinary. That's War Master Zeldrin. War Master Zeldrin has been kicking the ever-living shit out of me since I was a teenager still. And Goblin Empire. And he's really, really good. So he comes from like an older generation of fighter where one of like, I haven't seen it a lot out in the South since I've moved here, but I know it used to be. But, Zeldrin's favorite thing to do is leg you, and then you're going to get a rather large shield in the facial region, and then you're going to go on the ground, and then he's going to hit your legs. Briar, yay! But on a serious note, yeah, he beats the shit out of me. I really like this picture because you get to see the Ancient Wharf belt flag, it just makes me happy. Geese Goose gets a shout out, absolutely, and so does Elrath. Though having Elrath there was really cool to me. He was the first like veteran fighter that I think ever noticed me because I shot him in the face a bunch at the first Chaos Wars I went to. So he had me actually be in an EBF first test way back. And so it was cool to have him there. A glorious mustache, extraordinary fighter, and wonderful human. Like him a lot. Definitely, had his, like everybody's badass and we have a history. But like, no, good people. But Geese Goose, between Geese Goose, who, by the way, this is Geese Goose's first piece of garb that they've made. They did these patches in the car while we were driving up. Geese Goose is a kobold. Geese Goose has been in the game for Rotten's actually right. I totally mean old. For a long time, but never really felt like they were involved. And they're Bourbon's partner. Wonderful people, the two of them. They opened their home for me. They've been so kind and supportive and encouraging. Like, huge shout out. Geese Goose does not like compliments. Geese Goose got more compliments at EQ than probably even I did, and I felt oddly celebrity at EQ, which was bizarre. I'm going to beat the shit out of my ego later. It'll be fun. But Geese gets the shout out. Their garb is great. Their characterization's great. If you see Geese Goose walking around and you go honk, they'll honk back at you because Geese Dora's, God. So Geese Goose is great. But again, holy crap, Flint. What a picture. Oh, also, this gentleman is Sir Six. I got to meet him for the first time. He is an old Durdamarian guy. Really cool. I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to talk about both the stole, which Molly made me. So Kita is an extraordinary artist and crafter and everything. And she's made me this beautiful stole, which I've posted pictures of, and I'll talk more about it. Y'all, when you're talking, if you stand still, it's boring. So there's some of the pictures I'm going to use as an opportunity to show you guys the amount of movement I have when I'm in my, okay, this is magnum opus performance. Like, this is every ounce of my everything is going into this. Look at my body language and gesture. It's important. Fox is the shit. I love him. He's like one of the coziest, cutest, kindest humans. And you can see how the stole just wraps around the back. It's so well made. Okay, so this is the tree. I almost ate so much shit after this picture, like right after this picture was taken. If you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I basically went to take a picture, slipped because it was wet, and then tripped on my staff. And yeah, it was silly. So a couple things you can see here. One, if you have squires, apprentices, guild or otherwise, if you have retainers and they're wearing your symbol, I am talking to you peers right now. Do me a favor and wear their symbol too, because if they're representing you, gosh darn it, you should represent them too. Ha! That rhymed. I like it. So, eventually, yes, I'm going to have more. I'm going to have my chronicler apprentices and everything. But it was so cool for me to have people go, oh my God, is that the Horned Rat? And I get to tell them about Kestrel. And they, oh wow, that's such cool embroidery. Or at the bottom, it's Farfetched. It's this, if you see me, come find me. Bourbon is an absurd embroiderer and fiber art crafter, even though he doesn't think he is. He won a bloody tournament. Oh, that picture's not in the slideshow. What a bummer. I'll have to do another picture slideshow. But on a serious note, guys, you got to represent. If I represent you, you better represent me. It goes both ways. I will also go so far as saying, if you're not learning from your students, no, wait a second. This is my show. I can say whatever I want. If you're not learning from your students, what the fuck are you doing? It has to be a two-way street. It's got to be. If it's not, you're missing out. If you think you know everything and your students are there because you think you can make them the greatest and not because you think you can learn something from them, I don't know, don't take yourself so fucking seriously. You know? So I think it's really important to live in your element. I love this picture because it's a sick picture, funny story, but also that's the tree. I cried a lot at this event, specifically because of this human, and I think I made this human cry a lot at this event, and this is Kudzu. Kudzu is the Kadeen. If you know what Kadeens are, you're like, wow, that's cool, right? Yeah, Kudzu took his Kadeen trials in 1997. His Kadeen trials were the precursor to the Horde Headhunter trials. He is the man. One of the most humble people I know. He's a guitarist for a punk rock band. I've known of him and talked to him online for years. But there's like a mini interview at the... You're hilarious, Brazen. There's a mini interview at the ending of the video that Lady G took. And I both love Lady G and I feel bad too, because Lady G is savage in the greatest way ever and captured something and ripped it out of Kudzu that I don't think Kudzu wanted to give. And so Kudzu, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. But I'm so glad that I get to see that because I was over being mobbed by people. The truth of the matter is, this gentleman and 4 of his friends are the reason goblins exist. And goblins are the reason monsterdom exists. And monsterdom is the reason I'm here. What once was told firelit deeply persists. Like, they were just kids making shit up, right? And now, across the world, sort of, across the country, I took it up. And many other people have taken it up. Behind me, with his arms crossed in front of him, is one of the least goblin-y, most goblin-y people there ever is. Shy does not roleplay. Shy is. I don't really roleplay. Kudzu doesn't roleplay. And behind Kudzu is Snotbelly. Snotbelly is the 7th goblin ever. I think Kudzu's the 3rd. Kudzu named Snotbelly. We'll tell that story right now. You told a fib, Pickles. Nah, we're going to pause my story. Homie, what was your lie? Goblin confession. Boop! Got my confessional hat. All right, we're all going to wait in the chat until Pickles tells us exactly why he lied. See if my ADHD can allow me to stick with my bit. Nope, okay. Oh, you was not in the first Headhunter trial. I stuck to the bit. That's okay. You were probably in one of the original ones. So, endless gratitude to Kudzu. Not only is he an extraordinary human and just a simple, dude, but he exudes it when he is. And I count myself so unbelievably lucky to have had him and Snotbelly there at this elevation when I told their story, and to see him crying, and to see a lot of people actually from Durdamarian, the old ones, Jaconta, Six, a couple others, crying. It made me feel everything was worth it. And all of the work I've done and all of the shit I've kind of overcome to make sure that this gets out. This isn't really for me anymore. It started selfishly. But I'd argue that now it's a lot more for you guys, so that the history is known. Here's Snotbelly's story. It ain't wholesome. Snotbelly was, I think, 13, and Kudzu was, I think, 17 or 16. And Snotbelly really wanted to hang out with the goblins. The goblins did not want to hang out with Snotbelly. And so Snotbelly tackled Kudzu from behind at some event, and they wrestled for about 5 minutes. And then Kudzu realized that there was snot on Snotbelly's stomach, so he blew his nose on Snotbelly's stomach and rubbed in more. Yeah, seriously, guys, I really appreciate you being here. You know who really appreciates you being there too? Filet. Oh, you're stinky. Mwah. So rubbed snot in his belly, and that was the way Kudzu told it. And Snotbelly chimed in and said, nah. Then you grabbed me by the scruff, and shoved me into everybody's face and said, this guy's name's Snotbelly. He's gonna tell you it's something else. Nah, it's Snotbelly. This was 29 years ago, 28 years ago, some bullshit like that. No, probably like 24. Still, over 20 years ago, 2 damn decades. A grown-ass motherfucking dude. His name is Snotbelly. Because this dude here, this guy blew his nose in this guy's shirt. Belagarth, right? I love this picture. This is going to go, I'm going to print this, put this in a frame, put it in my wall. Flint, I'm going to fucking make you cry so hard when I Master Elevate you to Master Chronicler. I'm laying down the law now. You're going to bawl like a baby. Maybe you aren't, but I think you are. Oh, I love my sister so much. Antoinette is one of the most significant individuals in the sport. She's done so very much for the game. Seriously, so very much. Shy, I love him. What he did was really cool. You can see it on video, but he basically walked up to me and said nothing and just straightened me up. And then looked at me and said, "You talk good." I thought it was really funny. Really extraordinary guy. Incredible fighter. I got to fight him. I made him put down his umbrella, which was fun. And then he gored me a couple times, which reminded me okay, there are definitely more tactical ways I could have handled that, a la bench, which you can catch on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, just fucking great. That was Equinox. I will answer as many questions as you want about Equinox. Other thing that happened at Equinox is both of my apprentices that tried it passed the Wagon's Path trial, which is a trial that I'm going to definitely make harder, but it is a trial for my temple, and Achilles is also involved. And you have a 3v1, a 2v1, and a 1v1 single blue. You just have to beat it once. You have unlimited tries, 45 minutes. The 3v1 is supposed to be new fighters. 2v1 is medium level fighters. 1v1 is advanced fighters. Techno did his in 5 minutes. Not Soup did his in 14. Definitely going to make it a lower time limit, but very, very proud of both of them. They did a really great job. It was really fun. Got to tell a little lore story. And I could tell I got into Techno's brain a little, and that's the goal. So this is Equinox. We'll talk about it a little later. Now I would like to get into our special segment. So, because I'm realizing I'm almost at half an hour, and I haven't even started telling real. I've told quite a few stories, actually. Come on now, Cord. No. I have it timed. He had 33 minutes left on the timer, so he did a really, really good job. Yeah. What was crazy about Techno doing his so fast is that he had to fight Shy as his last fight, and it only took him 5 rounds. The goal of this is for them to see that they're better than they think they are. That's ultimately what the goal is here. By the way, peers, hot take. If you do a trial that doesn't teach them something, that isn't just how to persevere, because come on, man. Anybody who's going to be a squire knows how to persevere, and if they don't, they're not going to last. You're really just doing something that's going to hurt them. Do a skill trial. Make it failable. I love fear. I don't want to ever do it, but I'll run it again and again and again for people. Fear is a Kadeen trial that allows you to basically, try for 5 minutes, and then you know if you pass or fail. So, special segment today. I just want to take a moment of my show to ask everybody if they are able to either share the GoFundMe or donate, truthfully, to support Forkbeard Rex, who is an old friend of mine. He and Lilith are extraordinary people who have done so very much for so very many in our game, in DAG, in the burner communities all throughout Utah and Idaho. So I'm just going to show a couple pictures. Fork is, he was diagnosed with cancer, and they're, Lilith is a special eds teacher, and Fork is a stay-at-home dad, construction worker, handyman around the neighborhood and stuff. So it would mean a lot to me if you guys could do that. Forkbeard is also one of the greatest armorers. He's got a wonderful son. This is little Andy. That's Forkbeard now. Crinolin took these pictures. Crinolin is an extraordinary photographer. I didn't have time to add more pictures to the slideshow of all the crazy pictures of the armor he's made for people. My very first armor and what I consider my fuck you War Master armor, it comes from Forkbeard, and that's a funny one. Eventually I'll tell a story about that as well. I would really appreciate it if you guys could support Forkbeard. I know everybody's having a tough time right now, so a share is wonderful as well. But he has done so very much for so many. I just wanted to take a moment of my show to support him. I'm really excited, guys. We actually jumped into this quickly, so I'm fucking stoked.
Let's go!
I really hope you can do this. Thank you, Tanner.
It's story time! It's story time! It's story time! It's story time! Story time!
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh. Oops.
Huge shout out to Tanith for just ripping that out of nowhere. I love it so very, very much. Story time is becoming so much more than I thought it would be, and I'm really absolutely stoked. If you are just joining, don't worry, we're just getting into stories. I really don't know how I'm gonna end up putting all this stuff on YouTube, but I'm gonna. And I just a huge thank you to Tanith, to the Bench Network, to the Bench, to Horace, and to the whole crew, and just an extra uber thank you to Brazen, and Banjax, Brazen and Banjax, for making what was me getting live on Facebook this crazy awesome thing. I have graphics and a theme song. Like, what is going on? Okay. Today we're going to talk about my absolute favorite goblin god and the biggest xenophobic asshole in the world. Huzzah. Neb. We're not going to start at the beginning. I don't want to. So we're going to... That's so not helpful, but we have to... I kind of want to go backwards. No, we're not going to do that. So there are 4 great goblin gods. One not great goblin god. And a slew of little gods. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of them. And then we're going to talk about Neb. So, I'm not going to give you the intro. We're going to do the whole goblin, storyline on another episode. But first there was nothing. Then there was Maleshikad. By the way, Gorg, if you're watching this, shout out for saying that right. You impressed me, Snotbelly, and Kudzu. That was like, damn, shit. Okay. So then there was Maleshikad. Then Maleshikad created a bunch of other things, including Pissron. Then Pissron was like, ooh, Maleshikad, you're so pretty. But he didn't tell her, like, yeah, there's consequences to doing the dude. And then she got a disease, and the disease is goblin herphosyphilades. Anywhere she pees, we come up. Woohoo, greatest birth story. La, 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 la. I'm not going to talk too much about it. The very first puddle she peed created 5 goblins. Reth, Sifu, Neb, Scribbit, And, well, actually, Reth, Sifu, Neb, Balk, Scribbit. We don't talk about Balk just like we don't talk about Bruno. Scribbit became the goblin goddess of the underworld. She actually became the god of the underworld. So even for you guys, she took Anubis's place. Scribbit is now, in all intents and purposes, Halley's Comet. Reth is alive, but trapped on Maleshikad's shoulder and just, chilling in on the shoulder of the most powerful being ever. And Balk is a pustulant, gross, disgusting, many-mouthed demon, munching on goblins, right at the mouth of the river Styx. Which I still need to figure out how I want to do that lore. Because it's not really me. Yeah, fuck Balk. Big up, fuck Balk. And then, there's Neb. So, old Neb, who is my favorite. And even though technically this is what could be considered the symbol of new Neb, I like to say this is the symbol of old Neb. One of the things I did for my my witch doctorate was come up with symbols for Reth, for Neb, and for Balk, because there was only symbols for Sifu, for Maleshikad, and for Pisron and Scribbit. So this is Neb's head, and we'll talk a little bit about Neb's head later. Old Neb was known as the General. He ran essentially a kill squad. Think Sparta. It's kind of how I look at them. They were fighters. They were known as the Crows, and during the Great War, their favorite thing to do was hunt and kill gods. Mythical creatures and things. They flew in on wings black as night. Thus, they were called the Crows. They were so fast, so silent. Love them. Red Crow, maybe one day I'll tell you about the Broken Maw, the clan of the Broken Maw, a group of goblins so obsessed with the idea of shattering Balk's teeth so he can't eat anymore. So, Old Neb, well, we'll talk about Old Neb. We're going to do Old Neb's story first. I don't have my big monitor, so we're gonna see how this goes. I could tell you these stories, but I'm going to read them to you instead. So during the Great War, which again we'll talk about, okay, so we'll talk about what kind of happens during the Great War in another episode. We'll talk. But for now, we'll tell you the first of Neb's stories. This is old Neb. So Neb be out in the wilderness with his goblins. They called they crows, and they be almost all the remaining true goblins in the world, because Neb didn't really fucks with the not true goblins. It be the crows they wore cloaks of black and flying through the night and attacking their enemies where no one would suspect. They be finding this range of mountains that Neb had never seen before. In this times, the gods walk into earth. It's not strange as you think, seeing things you've never seen before. Neb go alone onto the mountainside, and it's not until he reached the top that he realized what these mountains be. The body of a god. And not just any god, but the body of Uron, the powerful ogre creator god. Blood still gushed from the wound, and a sense of doom overtake Neb. Something be wrong. He raced down to God's corpse, and he finds there encampment, torn to pieces. Dead goblins everywhere. There be great patches of land that be burnt, frozen, or turned to stone. He wonder what could do this. There'll barely be any another goblin alive. Neb filled with rage at losing his crows. and he realized that this is what the god's been preparing. He tracked through the camp and finds the footprints of not one, not two, but 4 great beasts. Now he understands. Uran was the god of elements, and he understands that other gods betray Uran to create great beasts from his blood and fill them with their power. And he know, even though all his true goblins are dead, and it be terrible blow, he know that they're after him. He is the God Slayer. He is one of the 4. If he lives or dies, it could decide the war. But he not afraid. And he say that he will hunt and kill these beasts himself. Because so much of God's power must have been poured into making them that it could kill them. They might die. And perhaps end the war. So Neb take his spear and begin to hunt. He finds one and he tracks it to the lake. He dive into the water and finds it, wrestles with it, drags it into the burning sun, and he pins it. He pin it down with his spear, and the creature of the water be slain by the sun. He find another one. He find it deep underground. He track it into a cave, where it dive in and out of the stone, and hunt Neb in the cavern. And he hunted back. For many days they track each other, until he find it, and he stab it, and he drag it out of the ground and to the lake, and he drowned it in the water, and it dissipates. But as he stands there on the edge of the lake, he hears a roaring sound, and it be flame. Flames be rushing through the forest behind him, and he hear it, and he run. The flame pursue him, consuming the entire forest, and he continue to run. And the beasts chase him in the flames, and Neb continue to run. For days, it seems, until finally he run long circles through the forest, and he gets to the point where suddenly all they be surrounded by dead and charred trees. The beast has nothing to burn, and it charges at Neb, and he slay it. He knows there just be one beast left. And he thinks he be getting close, and he track it down. It be hiding high up on the mountains, and he climbed a mountain, and he see it there. It fly at him, and he stab it through the heart. As he stab it, it grin, and Neb feels something pierce his own heart. Because it was cursed, and the blow that he deal to the beast be dealt back to him. And the beast die, but Neb die with him. When Neb's soul exit the river, Balk takes his piece, and Neb was reborn. But not as himself. And one of the 4 was lost. And so that is how Nebuchadnezzar had the opportunity to be born, because old Neb died. Alright, water break. So, many moons passed. Like so many damn moons. We still got some people watching, Brazen? Oh, la la. Alright, so, many moons later, lots of shit changed. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about goblin babies. When goblin women, or folk, give birth, Typically, she will dig a hole and then block the entrance. And for protecting herself and her younglings. And if it all be good in times of the goodness, it's a big time of celebration. Woo! Yeah, but you know what? Are covered my knees. Thank you very much. Pause. I'll start that story in a second. Y'all need to understand my history. In the long, long ago, I was a part of a conglomerate, and we were known as the nudist goblins, and we were proud of our gnibbly bits. It is true. We were proud of our gnibbly bits, and then Kazi attacked. And he showed us the wrongness of our ways, and I was converted. But sometime, no. I have always been proud of hiding my knees. I do not like hiding my elbows always. Sometimes I want to fly free. But my knees stay covered. And if I see Bourbon with his knees open, I will beat him. But his elbows, I'll just give him a hard time. So goblins, we're built a lot like peoples, but not completely like the peoples. In that we have what scientists would describe as nerve clusters in our elbows and our knees. And you know, if the wind blows on them right, or if the one you love caresses them, they might happen to have a little bit of a good feeling, you know, like an erogenous zone. But they're not like nipples, okay? It's not like milk comes out or anything weird like that. So they're erogenous zones. And because they're erogenous zones, out of decency, we cover them in the presence of other goblins. We don't really care so much about non-goblin races, although it's kind of just become a thing. No, those are my knees. Thank you very much, you devilish pancake witch. So, anywho, sometimes, hi Techno, sometimes I like the wind on my elbows, but if you touch my elbow and I don't know you, I might hit you. Full transparency. It is what it is. So, elbows and knees. Yeah. Stellar, you're a tree. You're the one with sap inside. All right, everybody. So when goblin women give birth, she dig a hole and block entrance. This is for protection of herself and her young. Oh, you chat is ridiculous. If all be good, it's a big time of celebration for the tribe. More goblins is a good thing. Remember, goblins recycle, so it was great, right? Oh my god, new baby goblins, and they know everything. They know how to ride motorcycles and do counting and be better than everybody else. It's great. But I'm so uncomfortable with that statement, Bourbon. Like, that is, okay. But when time come for Neb's mother to dig her hole in black dirt beneath the volcano, the goblins of her tribe be near death. Long years and many moons had passed since coming of other races and departure of Reth. Goblins are scattered and hunted across the world, weakened by Balk's betrayal, confused with no one to lead them. Goblins living in Nizar, specifically, which we'll talk about later, but Nizar is essentially a volcano that used to be Olympus. Be frightened and craven and bent in fear. After so many years of running, they had forgotten to strength and to fury that be their birthright. They is forgetting their history. All that make goblin, goblin. When Neb's mother's birth cries stopped, the goblins of her tribe slowly began to pull down the sticks and rocks that blocked the hole. Sunlight pour into the cave. Neb's mother be dead. Too hungry and weak to live through the birthing. Most of the younglings be dead too. It'd be really sad. Withered and starved in the womb. And those who not dead lie panting on the wet ground, nearly dead. All but one. As the goblins entered the cave, that one youngling bared his teeth and hissed at them, eyes burning as he clutched a rock tight in his fist. One goblin child, standing, his legs shaking, ribs poking through skin, covered in his mother's blood. But he's standing. And with my own little addition, they saw in the shadow bright red eyes. Neb and the boar. Neb grow bigger and faster than the other younglings. He better at finding food. He look longer and harder. He climb trees and steal eggs and catch squirrels. By the time he half grown, he almost as tall as the adults in his tribe. He never got big though. From the day he born, he always looked lean and hungry, skin stretched tight, eyes set way back behind his cheekbones, thin and green. When Neb's still little goblin, one of the probably many things his tribe be fearing is a killer boar. And if you've never seen a boar, boars are actually like legit scary. If you're like a 3-foot tall goblin, yeah, that shit's fucking scary. And I'm 5'8", so, Neb might be a little taller than me. Scary. This killer boar lived in the forest around the volcano. It's massive, scarred, with bitter white tusks and hate for all that live. It hunt and harass goblins, breaking huts and killing them, destroying traps and fishing nets. It hunt and harass everybody. One night, Neb is out hunting with the other young goblins. They be perched up on a boulder. It be safe. But Neb not want to sleep on cold, stupid rock. He climbed down to sleep in nice woods. They tell him he's stupid and that the boar's gonna eat him. But Neb say he not care. It's almost morning when Neb wakes to sharp huffing noise. He opens his eyes, and in the bushes he sees 2 tiny beady gleaming eyes in the moonlights, and tusks like swords glowing silver. Neb stands slowly as the boar huffs again, breath steaming. Other goblins wake up and is screaming at Neb to run or climb a tree or get out there or do something. The boar bellow and charge. He almost to Neb when Neb scream and lunge at it. The boar is shocked and starts to skid to a stop. Neb punched the boar. Wham! Right in the nose. As hard as he can. And breaks it. And the blood bursts all over Neb and the ground. Squealing in pain and shock, the boar's just freaking out. And Neb and the boar be standing eye to eye. Smell of the blood fill boar's snout, and suddenly some old memory waken it, some instinct passed down from its ancestors from days long gone. And it looks at the lean creature standing before it with burning red eyes, and knows that this is the most dangerous of all creatures. It squeal again, and turn, and run for its life. It run and run, slobbering and panting in its terror. It run until its heart explode in its chest. And Neb. And Neb laugh. That is Neb and the boar. Okay, y'all, so the next one is long. So, let me ask you this. How is the story crew feeling? Do I need to wake you all up again and remind you what time it is? Jesus, 30 to 50 feral hogs is a terrifying thought. All right. Well, the hour is coming to a close, my friends. So technically, yeah, that's fair. My throat is probably a little worn out. All right, everybody. We're going to switch on over. So we're going to put a pause here on Neb's story. I don't actually feel poopy. So we're going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll do one more Neb story. Yeah, we'll do one more Neb story. We'll do one more quick Neb story, and then we'll do a quick Q&A, and that'll be it for tonight. Jesus Christ. Alrighty, everybody. This is Neb and the Pinky Knight. For a long time, Pinkies in all of the races was fear in Nizar, even after the departure of Wrath in the beginning of time of the Great Retreat. Goblins was holding land around the volcano in great strength. They remembered the old ways and followed their Khadins, fearless into battle. None dare cross mountains that surround the volcano and the forest around it, and none dare walk in the valley where the goblins hunt. But after a while, an elf named the King of the Stars led his armies to destroy Nizar. Elfie army spill into the valley and lead through the mountains to Nizar, shimmering steel like fish scales. Ugh. The Khadins rally goblins to war, and they fall on the Elfie army like an avalanche. Thousands of Elfies be killed, pulled out of their shiny armor and torn to pieces. But there be too many, and too well armed, and most of all, too many damn Elfie magic users. Elfie army be strong and fresh, while goblins rank thin from war. Their weapons be old and broken from many battles. Goblins who survive flee into the forest, and the last Khadin die, surrounded and cut down as she battle King of Stars, with Scribbit's rage burning strong till the end. The goblins hide, and hunt Elfies when they try to drive goblins from the forest and the volcano. Eventually the Elfies grow tired and leave, going to a nearby vale and making huge city. But the goblins no longer have the strength to stop other races and Pinkies from entering Nizar and harassing them. But still, no one tries to live in Nizar. Other races fear it. Until a long time later, in the time of Neb's grandfather, when the human knight came to carve a kingdom for himself from the forest. He called himself Baron. No. And spent so much time hunting goblins, who by then were scattered and weak. Not too long after Neb faced a boar, does Baron come riding through, killing goblins and taking them away to be his slaves. He do this often enough. The leader of the goblin tribe at this time be Ukek. No one really believes story of the boar. They think Neb friends lie. Neb never talk about it either. Ukek say that goblins must move the village further into the forest and away from the volcano. They must hide from the Baron. Goblins are nodding their head when Neb stands up to speak. Ukek is surprised, because goblins rarely speak up against him, and Neb never said anything in the council before. Why is you so quick to run, Ukek? Neb pulled out his stone knife and pointed to the volcano which loomed over them. Dis be place of goblin power. Why you be so quick to abandon it? I say when this Baron come, we kill him and be done. Ukek stare, and then laugh at Neb.
You never seen Baron. He have second skin of steel that he wear, and he ride on huge horse creature. How you intend to kill him with a little knife?
Other goblins shake their head. They all afraid of the Baron. Neb quiet for a while. Under the steel, he be pink. You not believe what must be done can be done. Then sit in, stupid, useless council. I show you how. He stand in front of fire and turn knife on himself. He press tip into his arm and begin to cut. You is forgetting something. You is forgetting all that matters. He raise his arm. Under dark blood, goblins see the burning swirl of Scribbit. They shudder. I show you how. He turn and walk away.
Stupid!
Stupid. You useless. You go to die, idiot. I lead goblins. We stay alive. That god has abandoned us. He not help you. Baron built stone tower under the volcano next to the valley that led through the mountains that circled Nazar. Ukek's village be on the other side of the volcano. Neb is halfway there when his father catch up to him. Neb's father be Balthazar. He be a hero, to the extent that goblins living in those times had heroes. He had snuck into the Baron's camp one night when he was young and rescued many slaves. For a while they walked in silence. Neither be goblins of many words. And goblins not really putting much importance on family. After all goblin souls existed already. When mother have litter, they looks into personalities of those goblins is not similar to either parent. They is unrelated, in a way. If goblins respect parents or siblings, they be friends. If not, they not treat them any better because they family. But Neb always gotten along well with his father. Finally, Balthazar speak. You probably not come back, Neb, he say. Neb not answer. But you is right. He step in front of Neb, stopping him. What do you need me to do? Stand still, says Neb. Balthazar do. Neb pull knife and put it in Balthazar's forehead. He make one quick cut. Balthazar reach up and feel where the blood be running. Where Maleshikad's slitted eye is cut in his skin. Scribbit is strength of goblins. Maleshikad be our unity. If I come back, I want all the goblins ready to go to war again. Balthazar nod, and Neb smile at his father before starting to walk away again. By the time night is fallen, Neb has reached the Baron's tower. It be dark and cold, with windows like yellow eyes running up the side. He sit and wait. 3 days pass. Goblins is gathering in Ukek village, but there be no word from Neb. Into tower, Baron is having great party. It late, and he drunk. He stagger into little garter robe and start to take a piss. His head spin. He's drunk, right? So he put an arm on the wall to steady himself. He hear his piss splash into the moat far below him. Suddenly, the noise stop. He have enough time to wonder about it before a shape explode out of the hole. It be tall and lean and slick and dark and reeking of filth. Deep in its face, green eyes stared out at Baron, while an arm shot out and grabbed the Baron's crotch. Baron opened his mouth in shock and then screamed as the other arm cuts. He staggered back, shrieking in pain, with another stab sinking into the soft, hollow spot at the base of his neck, turning scream to gurgle. He fall backwards through the door, and his guests were just in time to see a flash of motion as Neb leapt down the latrine shaft, skidding all the way down to the moat. Next day, the goblins are gathering around the fire. Balthazar is trying to convince them to stay. Ukek is saying, "It foolish to stay in large group. Neb not coming back, and the Baron could come and destroy them all in one blow." As he sits down, Neb walks through the crowd. He tossed Baron's balls on the fire. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Baron not come back, Ukek. He dead, or he wish he is. There be a hum in the goblins. He point across the fire at Ukek. Stand up and come here. Eyes wide, Ukek do. They walk around the bonfire, seem to take an age for Ukek. When he finally arrive, he realized that Neb be staring down at him, and he realized how tall Neb be. One moment, Neb be staring down at him. Next moment, there are thin fingers squeezing Ukek's throat with impossible strength. Ukek, listen to me. I am the leaders of the goblins. Do you object? Ukek's eyes be like a fish's. He shake his head. No. Neb fling him back into the mob. Then find a weapon. We go to war. Baron's town be in chaos. No one know how he would be attacked, and the horror of it infected his people with fear. Already some be fleeing the valley, saying it be truly cursed. By the time the goblins began to pour out of the forest, they were running in panic. Goblins raised and killed and feasted on pinkies. They laughed. They burned with goblin fury. And again, they chased down all of those who tried to flee. Lethal green shadows flitting in the dark forests, filling Pinky's and the Grick's final moments with fear and terror. The Baron's men lock down the tower and pour arrows and oil and rocks on the attacking goblins. But they break down the door, rush in, and slaughter them all. Steel skin or no. Neb is finding the Baron in his room, pale, still clutching the life, bandages soaked red, covered in sweat, trying to lift a sword. Neb laugh and scream in triumph. Knocks the sword away and then drags the Baron to the top of the roof of the tower. He hold him over his head and scream. Below, the goblins holding bloody weapons high laughed. Neb hurled the Baron from his tower and cackled, smelling the sweet smell of blood and burn and a rekindling of the power of Nezar. And with that, story time comes to a close. I will open the floor for a couple of questions, and then we will go for the evening. Thank you guys for listening. Alrighty, friends. We will give you all a minute or two for questions. Question time. Next week, we will finish Neb stories, if we can do that. You know, that's a good question, Brazen. I think a big part of it is it came... No, it's not a thinly veiled fetish, I don't think. I think it came from a time when pee-pee and poo-poo jokes were really prevalent and, like, really, like, you know, early tween or late tween, early teen, like, humor. And I think that's where it came from. Because, like... Kudzu told me a healing poem that was all about Sifu peeing, or Pissron peeing in your butt. So, you know, yeah, we are born of piss. And I mean, maybe some of the goblins have, you know, pee fetishes. I don't, but I do my best not to judge. So there you go. I'm... Yeah. Well, there's also butt slugs and a couple other things too. There's a lot of butt stuff. Let's be real. Yeah, he did, Brazen. I'm not going to repeat that one for the recording, though. Yeah, no. It's all the pee is where all the rage comes from. That's totally it, true. No. I didn't. My ADHD did not entirely rob me of the punchline because I saw what you said. But in the first 4 Headhunter trials is pretty dope. That's a good question about Night Goblin lore. The short answer of it is yes. The long answer of it is yes, but finding it's really hard. I have some of my own. Rumble has quite a few, like the Culling Wars, which I'll probably end up writing about unless he actually is coming back. He was supposedly coming back. Yes, there's a pro strat from the bench. You heard it here first. If you want to be good at red fighting, you have to shrink your balls. Yeah, it worked for Tanith, and if it worked for Tanith, it works. It'll work for all of us. So, I really don't think Goblin Lore is hit or miss. I think it crushes, but I did like your little thing there. I see the kidding now. That's fair. Do you guys like this new format of me? I am. As long as this COVID thing goes away and I am, fully healthy by the time that I would need to fly, I will absolutely be at Ockfest. Yes. Jesus Christ. What are we, 5 years? Yeah, we probably are 5 years old. That is about it. Yeah, no, I'm stoked, Pickles. It'll be really fun to see you. It will be very fun to see you. Yeah, so I did the thing. Very proud of it. Oh, it's upside down. Very proud of this win. That's fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, this will continue as soon as I get through the Goblin Lore that I want to tell. I'm going to have a whole segment where we interview a guest. So I'm going to be doing monster interviews, and trying to learn more and more about other monsters. We're going to have trolls. We're going to have frogs. We're going to have fire cultists. It'll be good fun. Yes, Brazen. I will interview you. I promise. We can have fae. We can have lizards. We'll do it all. I don't want to just talk the whole time. I'm just talking the whole time right now. Yes, actually, I would agree with you. So this is a very good question from the bench, Tanith. So I'm going to explain it. The question is, would shit or piss be more of a goblin spelt with an I rather than goblin spelt with a Y? And the answer is yes. I look at Kudzu as goblin with a Y. However, I think Kudzu looks at Kudzu as goblin with an I. Just the fodder, just the goblin to be chucked on the spears. And I think there's a lot of goblins that just want to do that, and I really fully support them. That ain't me, clearly, but it's good for some people. So yes, I would say shit, piss jokes. Oh my god, I'm so scared. I want to run away. Ukek is a goblin with an I, whereas Neb is a goblin with a Y. Yeah, in the Night Goblin language, Y and I are not separate. All right, with that being said, everybody, I just want to say sincerely thank you so much for taking some time to sit with me under the mushroom cap. I really hope you enjoyed your stay. Join us on Thursday for the bench. We're going to be talking about, I believe, Lightest Touch LARP, and we're going to have some rather famous individuals hop on. So please check that out. A big thank you to everybody who's going to be able to go and share or even donate to support Forkbeard. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate that. And I will post that in the event page, the link to his GoFundMe, if you guys could do that. A stellar guy, by the way, Brazen, is stellar. My other Chronicler's apprentice, Nadar, and my roommate. You guys will be friends because he's the homie. And you are the homie. So, with that being said, everybody, next week we are going to, if time allows, just jump right into Neb Stories and finish the rest of Neb Stories. I also do want to just plug the fact that Neb Stories were written by, they were discovered by Kazi. So, and with that, guys, this is how we're ending it.
Let's go!
Love you all. Have a wonderful night.
Are you ready?
I'll see you next week. It's story time.